Reigns is back. He is now OTC1, like he's some form of robot, but that's cool because it is 2025, and I actually think it's come at a very good time. Now, I'm pretty sure that Roman Reigns was going to come back anyway, and he was probably going to have a match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, because, of course, we made all those teasers on last week's episode of Raw, and now we are, what's the word I'm even looking for, drowning in all this Seth Rollins stuff. Now, I always want to caveat this because we don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on unless your name is Seth Rollins or probably Triple H, I would suppose. And I guess Becky Lynch, she probably knows. But I just want him to be okay, right? Wrestling is not important. It's the most important, the least important things, as I always say. And if he is legitimately hurt, I don't think we should be sitting around like some people on the internet are going, oh man, I can't believe it. We don't know any answers. So let's wait until we get answers before we start pointing finger at blames. And if this bizarre story about Seth Rollins being injured before Saturday Night's main event and then using the LA Knight match to do a work injury, which is then going to tie into a storyline, is true, it's kind of clever. It's kind of interesting. Again, I don't mind being worked. That's the other thing. People are like, how dare you lie to me? No one's lying to you. Wrestling is a lie at its very core. It's different if you're backstage, but once again, we cannot talk for those people. Point is, if he did get hurt, and I kind of think he probably did, just because SummerSlam, Hot WrestleMania, the first time we're doing 2 nights, if you have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins on your bingo card, which we did when we predicted the show, I don't think you do anything to get in the way of that, even if you come up with a good plan. You could do this whenever the flub you wanted. You want that on there. And as much as I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso taking on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, which I am guessing is the match that does not have the same gravitas, the same weight, or the same history as Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. That would have been an awesome match. The jeopardy would have been through the roof. So let's just hope Seth Rollins is okay. And of course, Roman Reigns came back anyway. I think probably the beatdown at the end on Punk and Jey Uso would have been with Seth Rollins, and that's when Roman Reigns would have come back. So we just switched people around, essentially. Maybe Seth Rollins was even going to be in the Gauntlet. I very much doubt that. Well, he wouldn't have been, would he? Because he's got a Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's probably what we should have done. But it was awesome, and it is great. I know people like to say, oh man, Roman Reigns goes away too long. Well, 1, he's got it in his deal, so more power to that guy. 2, he's earned it if you go through the last 10 to 12 years of his career. But 3, it does kind of work. I mean, not everybody can do it, but obviously he's fallen into this position. He comes back, this place goes nuts. Obviously, he's there to save his cousin and kind of CM Punk, but not really. If you were told someone, I said some What Culture ups and downs, again, check that for my beat by beat review. This is more of us sitting in a bar talking about wrestling. But if you had told anybody that back in 2015, you would have been punched in the face. Like Roman Reigns, especially in that Raw Rumble then, and the 2016 Raw Rumble, disasters. And WrestleMania 32, whatever it was, disaster. The whole Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns things were like, let's not change the title, even though it's absolutely trying to change the belt, and then Brock Lesnar throws the belt at Vince McMahon. Total chaos, total Dr. Robotnik. Whereas here we are, he's a tribal chief. He's the character he was always meant to play. Essentially now we can look back in hindsight and saying, continuing on for so long with suffering, succotash, big dog, whatever else, this is my yard, Roman Reigns. Total error, total mistake, never should have done that. Should have probably cut it off after 2 years max and made this switcheroo, but hey, better late than never, but better never late. And it was awesome, and it was great. If we are going to do the Jey Uso tag team, Roman Reigns has to say, I'm sorry for gaslighting you, Jey Uso, for half a decade and being really horrible. And Jey Uso should be like, right, Us, let's just go back through the last couple of months. These guys beat me up, you weren't here. This happened, you weren't here. But that time I got absolutely wrecked, you weren't here. I really like to know. That's why Paul Heyman turned on Roman Reigns. Probably do a heel turn at SummerSlam, but it won't be a heel turn. Jey Uso will be totally justified. And CM Punk winning the Gauntlet, I'm all about that, because CM Punk is just an anomaly, and CM Punk is intriguing. And if you put CM Punk on a match, you will make me think he's going to win. But should Gunther be losing the championship this soon? Is Seth Rollins going to cash in? I know I just said that we need to be careful here, but it is an idea that's on the table. Maybe that's why we did it, because CM Punk is going to be about to win and, in runs Seth Rollins. And that could also be why we pulled the trigger on the Naomi cash-in at Saturday Night's main event. No, Evolution. Too many shows this weekend, because they didn't want to do 2 over SummerSlam weekend. I said they probably should. I compared it to Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. Shout out to Adam Cole. Hope he's doing all right. At All Out 2021, I always get confused when that show was. You probably shouldn't have done it on paper, but then we put it into practice. It was the coolest thing in the world. But we haven't done that now. Naomi winning was awesome. We'll talk about her in just 1 second. But that could be what we're doing to really continue on this CM Punk Seth feud. And then, listen, WWE do like to copy their own storylines. So if you do that, it could then become Gunther, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins throughout the end of the 6-month period, as well as Roman Reigns That's some pretty heavy hitters, man. You're probably going to do good ratings and good pay-per-views, and it also probably leads to a Survivor Series match. I mean, now the rumor is that John Cena's last opponent could be Gunther, so maybe he gets thrown in there as well. We do not know. But yes, fun gauntlet. Penta match was fine. Again, I don't know how Penta and Jey Uso got in this because they lose all the time, but they're big stars. Braun Breaker kind of did away with him. Really like the LA Knight match because it just tie into everything on Saturday Night's main event. We sold the fact he's got injured ribs, so we just did that. Then it did go distraction, interference, and confusion. Too much on this episode of Raw for my liking, but I think the overall quality kind of did away with that and overshadowed it. It was good. But yeah, really like the LA Knight one until he got wrecked in his stomach, and then it was Punk, and Punk is Punk, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, Jey Uso before that. Well, Jey Uso is when... Actually, I have one big criticism about this episode of Raw. I never say that anything any wrestling company does is bad, because I think you can try and find the good in it, and even if you don't understand it, you're like, I understand what we're doing there. No DQs in a gauntlet match. I really would have to sit down and have a face-to-face. None comments, none on the internet where people just shout at each other. I'd have to have a sit-down conversation with you. That is the stupidest thing. There's no logic to that whatsoever. And I like goofy wrestling rules, right? I like it in the Battle Royal where you can get eliminated and you can just pull somebody else out. That, to me, is fun. But if there's no DQ in a gauntlet and you're Braun Breaker, bring a chair, bring a gun, bring a weapon, and just destroy everyone. Why didn't Bronson Reed just come in? I'm getting mad. If a gauntlet match is meant to be about fatigue, oh no, Braun Breaker, you've pulled number one. Your HP is going to be ruined. You're going to have no stamina left. Just have Bronson Reed do half the work. And then you're fine. You're the bad guys. I understand Penta not doing it. He's trying to be a stand-up individual. That is a really bad thing to implement, in my opinion. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a completely irrelevant thing that we don't need to worry about. But even that was too much for me to swallow. And if it's too much for me to swallow, something has absolutely gone wrong. But I suppose we didn't make it work. We didn't make it work. We shouldn't have done it. We shouldn't have done it. It didn't. I don't think we've ever done that before. That to me is just, there was too many roll-ups on this show as well. And the reason the roll-up has become such a stereotype is now you can just feel it in the air like the Lion King. It's to make you go, she didn't really lose. She got rolled up. Even though it's a perfectly viable wrestling hold. The one Becky Lynch did in Evolution, that's the one. Toni Storm did one in the last 6 months. That's the one, although I can't remember it. Whereas here, you have it in the first match with Dominic Mysterio. Then you have 2 in the Bayley-Lyra Valkyrie match. Don't mind doing 2 in that match. That felt like 2 people trying to compete and outdo each other. And they're essentially baby faces. But don't do it in the first one. Again, I don't know why this annoys me. It doesn't really. I'm putting this on for effect. But in the world of wrestling, when we're talking about it, that's just too much to me. And that's what the DQ felt like. No DQs. Kill a man. Beat up the ref. Just do whatever. You get a fan and use him as a projectile or her as a projectile and throw them in the ring. It was still fun. It was still entertaining. The return of Roman Reigns at the end, brilliant. He's the man. He's the guy. He's one of the GOATs. So yes, awesome. And that tag team match will be good. And I suppose the good news is that it makes our 2 main events very obvious. Well, you say that actually. I would probably do, given the level they just produced and how great Naomi the character is, personally, I would do Io Sky versus Rhea versus Naomi as my night 1 main event, especially after the success of Evolution. Then night 2, I do John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I understand how the WWE title eclipses all. And as great as Gunther versus CM Punk is going to be, I don't need that as the main event. That's no disrespect for CM Punk. Again, one of the old-timers. Gunther right now, a present old-timer for sure. He's doing great work. I guess you have to wait and see what the fans connect to the most, but that's actually what I would do. My point was, before then, you could argue that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns could have been a main event spot, but now there's no need. We don't need to worry about that. The tag match with Roman Reigns shouldn't be a main event, which has to be the first time Roman won't be in a main event for a while. Am I correct in that? Because his Cody Rhodes tag team was in the main event. I could be wrong there, but that could be interesting. It does bolster your card and make it very good. Good ending. Good gauntlet. Good like it. Like the Gunther promo beforehand as well. Teasing the eventual match with Braun Breaker. Love it. And I thought we really took advantage of the fact that Gunther has just retired Goldberg. Like, he was lapping up, he was still being horrible, talking about spears and all this. Fantastic, good work, liked it. And I was very much into the opener as well. Naomi comes out. I love the fact she addressed this. Like, you all thought I was going to cash in on Tiffany. I did. I made many a prediction saying that, so I'm a moron. I'm done with SmackDown. I hate Bianca Belair. Jade Cargill's an idiot. She may have beaten me at Evolution, but who's got the championship now? And then quite rightfully, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out and like, you've ruined one of the greatest matches that's happened for a long old while. You're a terrible person. So when Adam Pearce comes out and says, I will now make this a triple threat match. Fine, good booking. That'll be excellent. It's a shame we have to hit fast forward because we've come out of all these pay-per-views and SummerSlam is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks essentially, but it's not that long at all. I think we need more build. But they have such star power in this match. A lot of it based on the good work they're doing in the ring. And again, this new gimmick by Naomi, like I said this on the internet, which you should never do because people just take it far too literally, although maybe that's my fault. I said, I find it mad that Naomi's essentially been in the WWE since 2014, maybe even 2012, It's been a long old while. And we never gave her a solo heel run because she was in Team Bad. Are you kidding me? In Team Bad? I mean, do you remember Team Bad? That's a different conversation for a different day. But finally, she's on her own, doing her own thing. And we turned it into a big heel turn. There was no proper heel turn when Team Bad were around. It was all a mess and calling people up for no reason. I don't want to talk about it. It's bad times in WWE. But she's doing great. I'm glad she's a champ. A bit worried she is going to lose at SummerSlam, but I hope I'm wrong. And what Rhea Ripley and Io Sky does doesn't even matter from this point on, because again, tremendous. So yeah, good opening segment. I like the tag team match as well. Playing off what we did at Evolution, Kabuki Warriors versus Raquel and Roxy, because the tag team belts, the women's versions, are finally being featured on television again. More than the men's, the Raw men's ones anyway. SmackDown ones are quite good, because there are so many times we've stumbled into goodness and then we just let it go. This time it feels like we're carrying it on. We just talked about it. They cheated to win. It's difficult because the logic would tell you it'd be another triple threat match with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the allies of convenience. But then so much stuff is kind of copy and paste. I'm like, do we really want to do that many triple threat match? Although we were worried about this before WrestleMania, it turned out there weren't that many multi-mans anyway. And there is justification there to do it. I really want Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss to win. Not that I necessarily want the Judgment Day or the Kabuki Warriors to lose, but I think we've stumbled onto something there. And they're such big stars that if they can then start doing the big tour with the belts as well, I think we can actually level them up. And I'm a big fan of these championships. I always go back to when it must have been Naomi and Bianca lost them to Liv and Raquel. So much fun. And people actually cared about them. They just vanished into the abyss until WrestleMania. Then they vanished again. But that was good. Finn Balor being the ultimate troll is just wonderful. And when Liv Morgan comes back, she's primed to be a babyface, especially because Roxanne Perez has now nuzzled her way in. The angle with Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, with Dominic being scared and using his doctor's note as a shield. Then Adam Pearce telling him, you've got 1 week and we're going to see if you're cleared or not. And AJ Styles praying that he's all right. So Dominic Mysterio prayed as well. And also before that was the bit when the New Day, who are acting like widows because they've lost the tag team titles. How can people not like Goofy Wrestling for Life? I don't know. But they give Adam Pearce a box of wigs with Grayson Waller, by the way, who just isn't with Austin Theory now. If they've had a breakup off screen after 18 months of tease, I'm going to have another conniption, but we'll talk about that as and when it happens. And when Adam Pearce knocks this box of wigs out of Grayson Waller's hand because he thinks this is insulting, you have to earn a rematch, damn it. And they're walking off, and the fact it's off screen makes it even better. And Xavier Woods just shouts out, "There's going to be hell to pay." The delivery of it is, and the way that Kofi Kingston looked as if he was properly emotionally hurt. I got a video going up soon, spoiler, of my greatest wrestling groups of all time. The New Day are in it, right? And they're quite high. And it's for reasons like this. Thought it was wonderful. Made me laugh out loud twice. That made me laugh out loud. And the Dom and AJ stuff made me laugh out loud. Super good. Now, obviously, there's not actually that much to talk about here just because the Gauntlet went so long. I think it was, probably the last hour of Raw? I'm probably exaggerating there. A good 40 minutes, though, with the angle afterwards, too. We also got Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green. I was like, where'd that come from? Because Lash Legend knock out Nikki Bella. That felt like an easy thing to me. It was totally fine. Some people have messaged me going, "Oh, Miller was terrible." I watched it. It's a perfectly acceptable professional wrestling match. The ending is a bit wibbly-jibbly, but as I thought at the time, I like when I work these things out. I think Nikki Bella posted on social media, but it may have been a Photoshop. I didn't double-check it. But she went for original finisher before she said, "Oh, wait, no, I've changed it to a TKO." If that is the case, very good wrestling. I thought they actually dealt with it very well. My only issue with this was my issue with the entire thing. So much I've talked about it. Distraction, interference, confusion. Did it in every single match apart from the 2 out of 3 falls, which I didn't talk about a lot. That is brilliant. Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, awesome. Becky Lynch, awesome. One of the best feuds on WWE TV. The IC Championship stuff is fantastic. I couldn't be a bigger fan of this. It's brilliant. It's excellent. And actually, now I think about it, if we take the Gauntlet match as one match, it was all women's stuff and only one men's stuff. That's good. Let's get that balance going again. But yeah, Nikki versus Chelsea was fine. Stephanie Vicaire makes a save after earlier Chelsea had yelled at Stephanie. So I suppose at SummerSlam, maybe even on television, I don't know, we do that tag match. It does make sense because Stephanie Vicaire is going to clash in Paris to fight for a world championship. Who is that going to be? Let's say we get through SummerSlam and I think Jade Cargill will be the champion. I'm going to say Naomi, even though I'm not confident. Who the hell does Stephanie take on? Like, the only person that actually makes... None of these are heels. Tiffany's not a heel, even though she probably should be. Jade isn't a heel. And then Naomi is the heel. So she has to hold it on. Then Naomi versus Stephanie Vicaire. That gives me confidence, I just realised. Don't know why I had to go around the houses there, but we did. And otherwise, there was just a bunch of interviews. There was a funny one with American Made where they instantly ratted out El Grande Americano as Ludwig Kaiser. Like, See, we told you, meh, meh, meh. And we move on from there. I'm sure I've forgotten some stuff too. Somebody got really mad at me the other day because I didn't mention Karrion Kross. That's why I always ask you to double up with the What Culture stuff, because then somewhere I've, covered everything. This is meant to be more of a laid-back chat. We just just have fun and we have some drinks and we have some love. But yes, Karrion Kross and Scarlett did do a cool video on this where they called Sami Zayn a liar. I don't know what they're talking about. It's good, and I like it. I'm a big fan of Karrion and Scarlett, but they may as well have sat there and gone boo, and it would have made as much sense. But a very good episode of Raw because, of course, I think we come out of all this stuff at the weekend and we're like, we have to move on. We have SummerSlam, which is our second biggest event of the year. We can't just let it linger. Who sung that song? It was the Cranberries, I believe. Is that correct? So the Cranberries knew what they were talking about. Probably wasn't the Cranberries now. And CM Punk versus Gunther, getting that now, so we can have a couple of weeks of promos is good. John Cena and Cody are on SmackDown. That's good. So this ticks a lot of boxes, and Roman Reigns is back on TV. You could argue that Cody is the biggest star or CM Punk is the biggest star, whatever you want to do. Roman is right up there with them, if not a little bit higher, because again, he's got that freshness to him after being away for a few months. WWE's in a good position. I think SummerSlam will be fun. If you're burnt out on wrestling right now, I am with you. There was just way too much content this weekend, but I think it's going to happen more and more, so there are worse ways to be, right? Getting a bunch of awesome wrestling content is not the worst thing to be. People keep saying to me, you can't watch my content. Simon, what's your favourite show? You know I'm not going to answer that. And I don't mean because I'm sitting on the fence and want everyone to dance around with fairies and daisies. It's not how I watch wrestling. I don't watch AEW All In and want to compare it to Evolution, and neither should you, actually. That's how I feel about it, because you shouldn't expect the same things from either of these shows, right? If AEW tell you they're doing a Texas death match, I can't stand that either. Oh, it's way violent. That's your fault. They've made it very clear what they're going to do in Texas Death. And at the same point, a street fight or no holds barred match that Naomi and Jade have, I expect to give me what WWE has told me they've done for years. If all of a sudden they started stabbing each other in the head, I'd be like, what? And if all of a sudden Moxie versus Hangman was like a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, kid-friendly version, but this is crap. Because if I go into it with certain expectations, not that they have to meet my expectations, but my expectations won't be met, which sounds like the worst rap lyric ever. When I've been talking about Raw now, just worried I've forgotten about something. So what? If I have, I've told you about it. Talk about it down there in the comments and I'll respond to you. I try to respond as many as possible. Also, like the video, share the video, subscribe, click the video on the screen, which is going to be ups and downs for Evolution. No, it's not. It's going to be my review of Evolution. Got confused. Watch them all. Why the flub not? And please do subscribe. Notification bell. Otherwise, patreon.com/Simon316 for watch-alongs and all stuff like that. It's only $5. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller316 with just my name. One of the two. Search for it. It's got my ball t-shirts. GrillOfMine.com/Simon. Get 10% off all of their fitness wares. They are the best and sometimes more. They're always doing deals. Simon316 on social media. Simon Miller on something called personalized videos. TikTok. No, other way around. Simon Miller. Simon Miller on Cameo, Simon J. Miller on TikTok. As you can tell, I may be a bit tired and fatigued from the weekend. Not that I'm moaning, I had the best job ever. And one of the reasons is because you have supported me for almost a decade. Isn't that terrifying? Yes, it is. And I'm starting to get old. There's something I can do, but I still appreciate you. Take care, have a lovely week, and I'll probably see you throughout it.